I think I would be goon number 3. I'd want to be somebody who was working for a bad guy and gets brutally murdered somewhere in the movie.
2 years under house arrest. You haven't had any contact with Hank or Hope, have you?
Let's go.
It takes two to make a thing go right.
So congratulations on an amazing movie.
Thank
This
you.
movie is fun, it's adventurous, it's hilarious. What was your favorite gag as a director?
I think I love the Hello Kitty gag. We always talked about, as we were devising this movie, new and different ways to use the shrinking and growing technology. And part of that was we wanted a large portion of it to be comedic. And the idea of taking something so innocent like a little Hello Kitty Pez dispenser and growing it and making it into this weapon that could take out a couple of guys on motorcycles, that seemed fun. And then getting the finished visual effect in, and the fact that our visual effects artists make it look so realistic is really gratifying.
Tell us about some of the technical difficulties of shrinking things and then making them bigger.
Well, it's a whole, there's so much size changing to keep track of, and even Scott Lang's suit, which malfunctions a little in this movie, we had to keep track of, like, oh, okay, he's 2 feet tall in this one and he's 85 feet here. And doing the math of how we had to shoot all that, it became incredibly complicated.
Speaking of the suits, I know Evangeline was incredibly involved with the costume department on her suit. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why it was so important to her?
Well, I think, Evangeline took her responsibility very seriously about being a hero. She spent the whole first movie as a really capable hero, but was not allowed to suit up because her dad, was concerned that she was going to meet a fate like her mother. And now that they've reconciled in the first movie, she comes out fully formed here. So Evangeline and I had many conversations during the writing and obviously during the shooting of the movie. And part of it was like making this costume really feel functional and making Hope like not super glam, but like she'd have to pull up her hair and put it in a ponytail for this helmet to be able to come on and off. And maybe we see that she sweats during a fight, and trying to make her seem like a real dimensional person in this movie. And also kind of how she's evolved since the end of the first movie. Now that she's reconciled with her dad, like they work really well together, and she has this mission that's extremely personal. There's a possibility that her mother, who she hasn't seen in 30 years, might still be alive.
Speaking of her mother, tell us about working with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer, to me, was just dream casting. Because I thought about her in the first movie where we see a flashback, and you see eyes in the mask of the original Wasp, and we cast someone in that movie to be the eyes, and I said, well, she should look like Michelle Pfeiffer. And so when it came time for this movie, I said, we should try and get Michelle Pfeiffer. And Michelle came in and we had discussions really about the character and about this whole type of movie, and I was thrilled when she said yes, because I've been a fan of hers since way, way, way back. She's amazing.
Paul said she's just such a dream to have on set.
Well, she is. I mean, she's, if you look at her resume and the movies she's done, I love Married to the Mob and Scarface. I mean, she's just done so many different roles and can really do anything. And sort of how she decided to play Janet in this movie, we had all these conversations about, what is Janet like now, 30 years later, and I love what she did with her performance.